Hey guys, John Kenny here. Have you ever seen or heard of a condition in real estate called sale of buyer's property or SOBP? I'm wondering what exactly does that mean or how does it affect me? Let me break it down for you in plain English so you know exactly how it works. Whether you're buying or selling, this is something that could affect you in the future. I'm John Kenny, your Kilted Kenny, and I represent buyers and sellers across the Halifax area. And today we're going to talk about SOBP offers. So what does it mean? Sale of buyer's property, or SOBP as we call it. The buyer wants to buy a home, but first they have to sell the home that they're living in. It's a safety net for the buyer so they don't end up owning two homes at the same time because some people just can't be financed for that. So how does it work? Well, it starts by writing a regular offer to the seller of the home they want to buy and also attaching an additional condition called the SOBP Form 438. Can you see that? I didn't think so. I'll give you a better copy. Anyway, how it works is that the buyer has a deadline in which to sell their house. And let's say it's 30 days from now. At the end of the 30 days, if they have an offer and their offer's firmed up, great. They get to proceed with the purchase of their new home. If they don't hit the deadline, the seller can decide to terminate and end the deal at that time, or they can negotiate to extend it, depends on the situation. So that's what's in it for the buyer. Now, about the seller. What's in it for the seller? Well, here's where it gets interesting. The seller still has the right to offer his property for sale on the MLS system, and in fact, it even still says that it's active. People can continue to have viewings, etc. But the people that are looking at the home most likely do not have a home to sell, therefore they would have an advantage. If one of the new buyers decides that they want to write an offer, and they don't have a house to sell, it's presented to the seller negotiates as if they're taking the offer, and once that's done, they notify the people, or you, the person who's buying with an SOBP, and there's a certain amount of time that's set out in the offer that says, okay, we have 24 hours to respond on whether we can hold two homes through the bank or that we're going to walk away from the deal. So there's a bit of a risk for both the buyer and the seller in this situation. You could write an offer on a home, the seller could accept an SOBP, however, they could turn around and take another offer, and then you have to either firm up or get out of the way. So is this a good or a bad condition? Well, it really depends. For the buyers, it is a smart protection. For the sellers, it does add a level of uncertainty. In a hot market, sellers usually avoid SOBP offers. In a slower market, they may look at them, and it also, a lot of weight gets put into the house that the buyer's having to sell. So if the house is a good home that sells quickly, the seller may accept that. Their agent will ask those questions. If it's a house that's in a rural area that's harder to sell, the seller may not accept it because he may think, I'll be waiting for a long time for the house to sell. So we have to consider that. But if you're thinking about buying, selling, this condition might come into play. Reach out, I'll walk you through the process, and we can talk about it. Call me or drop a comment in here, and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm the Kilted Kenny, and this is something that a lot of my clients ask me. So if you're one of my clients, I'm probably sending you this just to clarify. And if you're not one of my clients, there's always room for more. Have a great day.